Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of The Lap Down. I am your host, Greg Farmer, and tonight we have another full house. We have JP, Jamie, Tyler, and Brandon coming on for his first episode of the season. Boys, how are we doing tonight?
Doing well. Can't complain. Ready to dive in.
That's always good to hear. As always, a big shout out to the Alkali Project and Mr. Will over there for the intro and outro music for the show. Please be sure to check out their album, The Blood World, on Spotify and wherever you get your music streaming. We're gonna jump right in. We kicked off the racing season about 4 weeks ago. But not everybody started racing. Formula One starts up this week on, Sunday. They are racing their first race, of the season at Melbourne, the Australian Grand Prix.
I just say something about it, because I know a little bit when you're done.
Yeah. Now I try to keep up with F1 as much as I can. I only know like a few of the drivers other than me running in my league on Xbox. So, Tyler, go ahead and tell us about the Australian Grand Prix.
So we got the Australian Grand Prix coming up this weekend, and we've also actually big news that the FIA has denied Andretti again, unfortunately. And we have a few driver market changes, like Liam Lawson to Red Bull, Carlos Sainz to Williams, Esteban Ocon to Haas. And it's going to be an exciting season. Last year of 2022 regulation. And so I don't see really much improvements on anything. They're going to be going to work on the 2026 car starting actually this week.
Yep, and don't forget about Lewis Hamilton moving over to Ferrari too.
Oh, that's the biggest change in the off season I forgot about. But Lewis will be back. Him and Charles are going to be a really good powerhouse team to watch out for.
Yep. And some a little bit of breaking news that happened over the weekend. Cadillac is confirmed to join the grid for Formula One in 2026. Tyler and I were talking before we went on air. Not sure if it's replacing another manufacturer like Chevrolet, or if they are just adding to the grid. But starting with JP, Cadillac being an American manufacturer, would you like to see an American driver running in one of those cars? And if so, who?
Yeah, so I would say AJ Allmendinger from the Cup Series, but that's probably not going to happen. That would be my ideal driver. He's very talented, knows what courses, would have a great season over there in Formula One.
All right. What about you, Jamie?
I think it's more just seeing a cool American manufacturer participating in the F1 series. I'd rather them get a decent / really good driver to drive it. I could care less if he's actually from the United States or not.
Are we talking about NASCAR or are we talking about F1? Because NASCAR, I thought we were talking about NASCAR one.
We're talking about F1. He asked what driver.
Yeah.
Oh, so then I already knew Cadillac was confirmed. They confirmed it like a while ago, but they actually officially tweeted about it. Go ahead. Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah, all I was saying is, I just want to see the Cadillac manufacturer perform well, and I'd rather them go out and get a good driver that's going to be able to bring some good results for Cadillac, regardless if they're American or not. I just want to see it perform well.
Yeah, same here. What about you, Tyler? Who would you like to see in that Cadillac on the grid?
Ooh, I personally would love to see. I would love to see Checo and Colton Herta, honestly, Colton Herta, because those are, well, this is going to stem back to the Andretti thing, but in Formula One. Andretti was actually initially going to be in F1 with Cadillac, but Andretti then got denied again. I still think Colton Herta and Checo, because Checo has a good relationship with GM, because he's actually raced in like IndyCar feeder series. So I personally think Checo or even Daniel Ricciardo and Colton.
All right. Brandon, I know you don't really follow F1 all that much, but do you have an opinion on it?
I think it's great, one, that they're joining the series, but I think you stole my answer. I was going to say Daniel Ricciardo. I think he'd be a good guy to see in that ride. I think he has a lot of unfinished business in F1 personally, so I'd love to see him have another shot in a solid ride.
Yeah, I would personally like to see Logan Sargent get another shot at it, but that's just me. But I mean, hopefully, like everybody said, we're all in agreement. We all hope that Cadillac performs well next year. But we're gonna jump over back to the United States. We had a packed weekend of racing at Phoenix Raceway. It started out Friday night with the ARCA series. Butterbean Queen dominated the race, but it was Brent Cruz who went on to win in a last lap pass for Joe Gibbs Racing in the number 18 car. I believe it was a one lap shootout, 2 attempts, I believe. JP, did you watch any of the ARCA race? If so, what did you think of it? You are muted, sir.
I think JP's having some issues.
No, I muted myself while everybody else was talking. There we go. But no, I thought the race was really good and stuff. Burger King, I watched some of the highlights. Got caution, we say it every weekend, the Cup at Thingy and Cup Series. Once they reach a certain point on the clock, all good different than Cup. Maybe the race to be over and all good like is in Cup, Clutch, and then Thingy. But by all means, give us a green flag finish, and that's what we got, so.
Yep. Jamie, did you catch any of the ARCA race?
Yeah, I caught the last half of it when I got off work. And there's more I want to say about the Phoenix racetrack in general, but as far as the overtime race, if I remember correctly, by the time that they were going into turn 3, there had to have been at least 5, maybe 6 cars all competing for that first spot. Like there was already like a 3 wide, then you had 2 more cars like kind of like dive well underneath the yellow just to see if they could get a sniff at it. I'll tell you what, if I was to have taken my daughter to a race that would have been practically free to go to, and just to get some of the youngins involved in seeing what NASCAR can be about, I gotta commend ARCA. They put up a fantastic showing out in Phoenix this weekend.
Yes, they really did. I caught a few laps of it, and it was pretty entertaining from what I could see, considering they were at Phoenix. Tyler, do you have any thoughts on it?
What's
All
that?
right. I think he said no. Brandon?
I didn't see it live. I saw some highlights. I would say it was a pretty good race. I for one am not a fan of the one lap shootouts. Personally, I just never been a fan of that. And I guess the only thing I had a problem with was Butterbean. He didn't seem to like the little move to get moved out of the way in the last lap, and I think he's got to have a little thicker skin because I honestly didn't see anything wrong with the move. I mean, he may have been the fastest guy, but you're going for a win. I think that was fair game, and I didn't see any issue with that finish. I thought it was great.
All right. Well, on Saturday, we had Xfinity. Alex Bowman was on the pole in the number 17 car for Hendrick Motorsports, and got out to an early lead. He won stage one. Justin Allgaier, or no, was it Almirola that won stage two, or was it Allgaier?
It was Almirola.
Okay. Yeah. Almirola won stage two, but Justin Allgaier seemed to dominate the race until the final restart. Allgaier got together with Almirola going into turn one and kind of washed up the track, and Bowman took the lead going 4 wide through the middle, only to be door slammed coming out of turn 4, coming to the checkered flag, and Eric Almirola won the race in the number 19 car for Joe Gibbs Racing. And this is where me and Brandon get to air out our grievances, because the race was on CW, and on the last lap, right as they took the white flag, the CW here in the Atlanta area decided they were just gonna cut the footage off and show Atlanta Hawks basketball. So we didn't even get to see the finish of the race. We had to go watch it on X or Facebook or wherever. And I could tell just by the posts that there were a lot of pissed off people, especially around this area, that did not get to see the finish of that race. But JP, what were your thoughts on the Xfinity Series race on Saturday?
So, yeah, I got to go along with it, but me and my guy were watching the race, and we saw what was probably happen with Alex Bowman and the performance in 19 of Eric Almirola. And, you know, the more and more I look at it, you know, my dad, you know, he's been a big NASCAR fan like I have for years. And, you know, we were both saying, is it fair game that Almirola put the 17 in the wall? You know, racing is racing, but was Almirola too aggressive in my opinion? Maybe. I bet once you saw the finish there, great, you were kind of pissed that Almirola did what he did to Bowman.
Yeah, I get tweet notifications from Jeff Gluck and Bob Pockrass, and as soon as it cut out, about 10 seconds later, I get both notifications that Almirola won it, and I'm like, okay, how in the world? And so I go back and start reading all the posts, and everybody's saying, oh, Almirola, you know, doored the crap out of Bowman and stuff, and I was like, well, I need to see a replay. And finally they posted the replay, and I saw Almirola get loose going into 3 and 4. But Bowman gave him like 3 lanes, and he came all the way up the track. And Almirola even said in his interview that he meant to wash him up. So, I mean, just my opinion here. You guys can have differing opinions. I think it was a dirty move, honestly. But, Jamie, what are your thoughts on it?
So, looking at it, at the end of the day, You're racing for a win. And this is not anything new in the realm of NASCAR. We can have opinions if it's a dirty move, if it's a clean move. Eric Almirola has never been a driver who can just win it the clean way. Let's just call it for what it is. But do I have a problem with it? I do not. Because we've seen on multiple different tracks with multiple different series, people leaning into each other and doing what they need to do to win the race. In this case, because of how Phoenix is, it's not a straightaway, it's an arch. And Almirola was doing no different, and it just so happened that on the other side of Bowman was a wall when they were coming out of that turn. Maybe, I know he meant to wash him up, but I don't think he anticipated him being right up next to the wall. But regardless, I did not see anything wrong with it.
All right. Well, I will give Almirola this much. You know, you said he can't seem to win races the clean way. The only clean win that I've seen Almirola have was the race that I was at, 2021 Loudon. He was very, very fast in the second half of the race, and he straight up won that race. But Tyler, what are your thoughts on Xfinity on Saturday?
I didn't mind the incident if it was between two Xfinity, but it was between two non-regular. Yeah, it was between two non-regulars, and I don't think they should have done that. Gone way too hard for an Xfinity race, because they're, especially Alex Bowman, because they're, like I said, I can understand if it was Xfinity. I'm more pissed off at the fact that it's two non-regulars going at it like that, and then Doring, and I don't condone that at all, especially bushwhacking.
All right. I will say that this was one of the more entertaining Xfinity Series races at Phoenix that I've seen in recent memory. They were battling quite a bit for the lead all throughout the race. But Brandon, what were your thoughts? I'm eager to hear it.
Well, to start off with the whole CW thing, as just like you, I was pretty pissed off. I've never in my life seen something like that happen. I mean, cover to the white flag. That's like the biggest moment of the race, and obviously there was a great finish. So to just see it go from battle for the lead to Hawks pregame, kind of disappointing. And I would say CW Atlanta should be ashamed of themselves for that, and hopefully the backlash they received will prevent this from ever happening again, because that is completely unacceptable. But as for the Xfinity race itself, up to that point, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, there was good racing. Austin Hill, I know nobody's talked about this, but that Austin Hill accident was like a video game ordeal. That's something I would do on iRacing, and that made me laugh so hard. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I thought something broke, but it just hit the inside wall.
I've done that on Heat 5 before.
I give him credit. He owned it, so I give him credit for that. Usually he's full of excuses, but he took credit for it. But fast forward to the finish, though. I mean, Bowman, he made a mistake, I think, in that last corner. I don't think he should have opened the door like he did. It kind of just offered it up. I mean, Almirola had so much room, so I'm not surprised he took that opportunity. If I was Bowman, I probably would have parked it on the bottom and pretty much made Almirola either choose to shove me up the track or just give it to him. But I mean, we've seen the move plenty of times. I mean, it's nothing new, but I'm not a big fan of guys just pretty much tearing up a race car. I mean, he destroyed Bowman's car, and I'm sure he didn't help his own car either. I'm not a big fan of that. If a little contact,
I'm going there
whatever.
right now.
Little contact's fine, but to run a whole race and then basically tear up 2 race cars at the finish is, I don't like that too much.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just kind of salty because, everybody in here knows that Bowman is my driver. So kind of stings a little bit to see him lose one like that, even if it is Xfinity. But jumping to Sunday, Willie B started on the pole. They had the primary tires and the option tires this weekend, which we will get to. They had a bunch of cautions, especially for Phoenix. Two of them for Catherine Legg. The second one finally kind of took her out. They had the big one. There's 12 cars involved about midway through the race that took out Brad Keselowski and Chase Briscoe, just to name a couple. Briscoe just won his appeal on his penalty, got his 100 points back, and then goes out and DNFs. And Brad K's miserable season continues. But they had a 2-lap shootout, and Christopher Bell gets win number 3 in a row over Denny Hamlin in the number 20 car, which makes it a JGR sweep of the weekend in consecutive car numbers. 18 on Friday, 19 on Saturday, 20 on Sunday. But my big question from the Cup Series race was, starting with JP, did the red option tires work?
Big props to NASCAR. I thought it was very entertaining. You only saw a couple tire issues with the red option tires, so I'm going to say yes, they did work.
All right, Jamie, what are your thoughts?
So the option tires, it seems like NASCAR only likes to bring them out when they have tracks that has been under some level of scrutiny as far as what the racing entails. And Phoenix, it was getting a little bland, but the option tires did their thing. It made it for a more entertaining race. It made for people to use strategy to try to get some stage points, i.e. Ryan Preece, getting stage 1 points for using the option tire early. It definitely creates a whole new dynamic for tracks like that I think can keep the attention of the crowd and the viewers who are watching at home. And it's one thing that I don't think they need to have option tires at every single track, but if you want to put them at places like Phoenix, like Richmond, places like that, I am alright if that becomes a standard.
Yeah, I agree, and they brought them out for this race, I believe, in response to the success that they had last year at Richmond and in the fall Martinsville race. I will say, before we get to Tyler, I will say that had that race gone green to the end and he didn't get a speeding penalty, I think Ty Dillon was in the catbird seat to have an upset win for the ages.
Oh yeah, before we go to Tyler, I have to second that.
Yep. Tyler, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was overall a pretty good race. Like I said, there was a little bit of precautions, but I think people were taking a little bit more risks because of having the option tire and having the ability to pass and come and go. I think that also led to the higher cautions. But I actually agree with Jamie, and like bringing to like Richmond, Bristol, or Martinsville, or shorter tracks, or even New Hampshire would actually benefit. Shorter tracks that it's hard to pass because the tires are too hard. That always have that option to have the softer tires so we can have strategy. That's what I really like about this race. Just the fact that it was unity, there was fall off, come back. It wasn't stale like it normally was.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Brandon?
Yeah, I thought it was great, honestly. It brought a new dynamic to the race that's, generally speaking, pretty boring in the last couple of years. I thought it was pretty entertaining seeing, guys on the primary, guys on the option, and sometimes seeing guys that typically aren't up front just bolt them on and suddenly they're up in the top 5, which is always pretty cool to see. I hope they keep doing it. I think it could be a good thing at other tracks like I said, Richmond, New Hampshire, maybe Bristol, and I think it'd be good for Martinsville. The only thing that worries me about the option tire is that I know it's more of a test right now, just seeing kind of how it does. I'm just scared that if they decide to, say, come back to Phoenix for the championship race and they say, hey, we're going to make this our primary tire, I'm afraid that everyone will just be falling off around the same pace and you'll just have the same old Phoenix again. So, in my opinion, I think they need to just stick with doing the option tire like this because I think it's a better product, honestly.
Well, it's funny that you say that, and that's a great segue to what I'm about to talk about. Bob Pockris put out on Twitter today that Austin Dillon, Josh Berry, and Tyler Reddick did a tire test today at Phoenix with a couple of different softer compounds than what they had yesterday for the option tire, and that they are only going to be bringing one tire compound to the championship race. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Great.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, lovely. That's called Why Don't You Listen to the Fans?
Well, I was listening to the teardown today, and Jordan Bianchi and Jeff Gluck were both saying that they would like to see this option tire run at like Pocono or Indianapolis. I'm not so sure about Indianapolis. I think we would have 2008 all over again.
Yeah.
Please God, no.
Or Bristol Springs last year.
Yeah. So a couple more questions. I know we're only 4 races in, but we've had 2 winners. We had Byron win the 500, and then Bell has just dominated from there. Is Bell the championship favorite? And before you answer, I will tell you that dating back to last year, Christopher Bell has gotten JGR's last 5 wins. He won the Coke 600, then he won at Loudon, and then he won the last 3 races in a row. So, go ahead, JP.
So, I would say yes. Christopher, I hope you listen to us. I hope other podcasts are listening to what we have to say. But I would say yes. He is a very talented young man who deserves this title. He's worked hard so far this year. I don't see anything wrong with how he's doing things right now. Let's get it done.
What about you, Jamie?
I think it'd be foolish not to say that he's not a favorite right now. I mean, he put the first three race win streak in these new cars. Something that I think was kind of interesting that he said, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but he was talking about, I think it has a lot to do with his driving style, along with just JGR in general. Because they literally have a plan for everything. There's nothing that surprises that team. And any which way that any of these races go, they already have a plan in place for that exact scenario. I think, as of right now, Christopher Bell has the chance to have a dominant season like we haven't seen in a while. Just based off of results. To win 3 races in a row, to the hot way that he ended the season last year. Like you said, he's got the last 5 wins for JGR. And this is including a guy by the name of Denny Hamlin.
Yep.
So to be outstaging Denny Hamlin at this point, not only in points, not only in finishes, but to be besting him at the end of this race, where Denny Hamlin was doing Denny Hamlin type things and Christopher Bell still found a way to beat him. It's incredible. It really is.
Yep. I don't disagree with anything that you just said. What about you, Tyler? Alright, Brandon.
What's up?
Oh. Do you think that Bell is the championship favorite?
I
think
Byron
Tyler,
better chance.
Tyler, you're gonna have to repeat what you just said because you cut out really, really bad, sir.
So I don't think Bell is going to be a threat, my personal opinion, until he can do this in the playoffs and Byron have a better overall chance.
All right. What about you, Brandon?
I think it's too early to say he's the favorite. I would say he's probably a lock for the top 4, but that's just too early. I think you still got guys like Hamlin, Larson, Byron. I mean, there's a few others out there that are probably going to catch fire in the season. I do think Bell's probably going to have his struggles, like every team does. But I mean, 3 wins is a crazy way to start the season. But I wouldn't say he's the favorite. I think once we probably get close to the playoffs, that guy will probably come into play. You'll probably have a good idea who the true favorite is by the time we get to the 26th race of the year.
But at this point in time in the season, who would you put over him?
Over him? I mean, I'd say Byron's been just as good as him. I mean, he was there at Atlanta. He could have moved him at Coda. Byron was in the top 3 before he got caught on pit road and during a caution. So, I mean, as many times as Bell has won this year, honestly, Byron could have done the same thing if things just worked out differently. So I think those are the 2 guys right now. But 4 races in, I can't really say he's the favorite for the entire season. He's just the best right now.
Well, not to mention that we were one push away from maybe having Bell win the first 4 races of the season because he was in contention to win the Daytona 500 too. And also not to mention that the next 2 to 3 races on the schedule favor Christopher Bell. Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville. I mean, I know it's highly, highly unlikely, but we could see 4 or 5 wins in a row. Like, you never know. But I'll go ahead, Brandon.
No, you're good.
So we're going to transition, or no, I'm sorry. I got one more, question. Starting with JP. If you are Ty Gibbs, is it time to hit the panic button? Because dating back to last year, he hasn't had a single top 25 finish since Talladega last fall, except for the Daytona 500 this year where he finished 16th. Other than that, he's finished in the 30s every race.
That's what I was going to bring up earlier, but you brought up for me. Call her ambulance, because he needs an ambulance.
What about you, Jamie?
It's one of the things like Ty Gibbs. He has just the fact that he's in the Cup Series tells me that he has a level of talent that has gotten him there. But at the end of the day, you got to produce finishes, and not when you talk about a standard of JGR. It is expected to be in the top 20 at the bare minimum. Too good of equipment to be wasted on being aggressive at the wrong time, not racing smart, not taking care of your tires. And I really thought that Ty Gibbs would have spent a lot of time in the simulator over the off season to get better at tire management, to get better at decision making. But I don't think it's time for him to hit the panic button as of yet. But if we're having this conversation in like 2, maybe 3 weeks, and he still hasn't cracked the top 20 or top 15 besides Daytona, then at that point it would be time to hit the panic button. But they just got to get it figured out. He's got to make better decisions, because it's honestly his decision making and his being aggressive at the wrong points of the race that is costing him these races.
All right, Tyler.
I don't really have much of an opinion except for the fact that I agree. So go ahead, Brandon.
All right, Brandon.
Oh, he should absolutely be hitting the panic button. I mean, to me, Ty Gibbs has been quite a disappointment since he got in Cup. I do think he got rushed a little bit to Cup. I don't think he was as ready as everyone thought he was, but in JGR equipment, finishes like that are just, in my mind, not acceptable. I mean, think back to when Eric Jones was in the 20 car. I mean, he performed better than this, and he got booted after like a couple seasons. And I mean, I think Ty Gibbs is talented, and I think he will turn it around, but at some point this year, if the same results keep happening, I mean, you're going to have to take a look at, is he really ready for Cup, and does he deserve that ride? But it's too soon in the season to really say that. So I think he'll probably turn it around, but he's got to be more patient, because he's put himself in so many bad positions early in the season, and it's really costing him at this point.
Well,
Actually, I do have one thing to add, actually. I've noticed how he's been racing. He's been way too immature so far in the last, 5-10 races. He's been way too immature. He needs to mature up a little bit and calm his ass down.
Yeah. Well, so I will say that Atlanta and Coda wasn't his fault. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. But I do get what you're saying, especially at the clash at Bowman Gray. You know, he just destroyed his own car for no reason, you know. But there's been a couple instances where it wasn't his fault. He just got caught up in somebody else's mess. But we're going to transition into our green flags and black flags for those of you who are new listeners, green flags is something that you liked during the race weekend, and black flags is something that you did not like. And we're going to kick it off with JP.
All right. Good thing we are, because my black flag has something to do with the race, but it's not an on-track issue I have. It's the pre-race ceremony national anthem gets my black flag
For which race?
for the cup race.
All right. What's your green flag?
Green flag is that figures of the cup race. I mean, again, for the second time this year, I felt like we were on tooth and nail. Was there going to be a final lap pass? And those Optum tires really produced that at the end of that race.
All right. Jamie.
My green flag goes to the Phoenix, all three races that happened at Phoenix Raceway, because of the track, because of just how well it had worn, creating multiple levels of racing. We had all three races come down to the wire, where 2 to 3 guys were all competing for the win, and I have not seen that specific thing happen at a track in a while. So my green flag definitely goes out to Phoenix Raceway for having a great weekend of racing, where it really could have been anybody's game to win that thing. Black flag, I'm going to say, I don't know, is it me, or did it feel like Catherine Legg was involved in practically every crash in some way, shape, or form?
Well, she brought out the first caution, and then she was pretty quiet until she spun again and decided to take Daniel Suarez with her that time.
Yeah, but she was also severely off the pace. Like, we're talking, like, she was at least like a half a second slower than every other driver. And NASCAR didn't take her off the track. They didn't say, hey, you're going too slow. You're going to end up causing another caution to happen because of how slow you're going. And sure enough, that second caution happened because she was just going so dang slow. So, I don't know. I think, I know they brought her in there to try to throw out another name to try to keep an eye off of. I mean, heck, the NASCAR app even had like a whole segment where she had to kind of explain like who she was and how long she's been racing for anyone to even know who she was. And no, don't get me wrong, no discredit to her. And the other types of cars that she's driven, she has driven competitive, and she is a good driver. It's just, I feel like NASCAR should have had her go into the Xfinity race and not necessarily the Cup race. That's just me.
All right. What about you, Tyler? All right. We'll circle back to Tyler. Brandon.
All right. Green flag, I would say NASCAR and Goodyear combined. I thought the option tire this weekend was great. I thought it really helped the Phoenix race a lot. I thoroughly enjoyed the race, and so kudos to them for that. My black flag, on the other hand, is NASCAR and their inconsistencies once again. I did not agree with the penalty for Austin Cindric. I personally think he should have been suspended for a race. I don't understand anymore what's right and wrong, because as far as I was concerned, the start of this year, you right hook a guy, it's a 1 race suspension, and they pretty much just said, oh, well, there wasn't a caution on the incident. It was a little bit slower. It's a road course. So with that, we're just going to do a points penalty and a fine. So I think they just open up a whole other can of worms now, to where if somebody does it again, You almost don't even know what they're going to do. It needs to be black and white call, balls and strikes. I mean, if you right hook a guy, 1 race suspension. That includes my own guy. My guy right hooks a guy, I expect him to be suspended. That's how it should be.
All right,
Can
Tyler.
I say my green flags is actually like I said, NASCAR Cup Series and the Phoenix Raceway with the option tire. It made for great racing, and it sort of saved a race that was probably going to be cut if they didn't do anything. But and also my black flag. I'm sorry, Catherine Flag. I love you, girlie, for IndyCar, but I have to give my black flag to NASCAR for bringing it. Unfortunately.
All right. Well, my black flag goes to Austin Hill for the rookie video game mistake in the Xfinity Series race. My green flag goes to, for the first time this season, we are not talking about shitty officiating. They got every call right this weekend, and they were pretty consistent other than the whole, Austin Cindric penalty. But yeah, no on-track officiating issues and all that good stuff. We had, clean, natural finishes in all 3 races, and I love that. But they are racing at Las Vegas this weekend. The last time.
Before you go that way, can I add on to what you just said there with the officiating?
Sure.
I want to, especially on this podcast, and especially for me, it's a rare thing for me to commend NASCAR when it comes to a call. And when Joey Logano had gotten a portion of his car under the yellow line on the restart, that was 100% the right call, because in the rulebook stated any part of the car cannot be below the yellow until the car has completely passed the start finish line. And there was a lot of debate on the interwebs of how NASCAR was trying to screw Joey and all those things, but this is what needs to happen with these other calls that we talked about. NASCAR is finally sticking to the book, at least when it came to that. It didn't leave area for a gray area. Now, if they could fix the right hooks at no matter what speed, as we saw from last week, and just say any right hook is going to be a penalty, it's going to be a suspension, it's going to be XYZ, then we wouldn't be talking about this. But for once, I want to commend NASCAR for actually making the right decision, not leaving gray area for that particular rule.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, they're racing at Vegas this weekend. The last time we were in Vegas, we saw Tyler Reddick upside down on the front stretch and Joey Logano winning to make the championship 4. As stated earlier, Vegas favors certain drivers like Bell, Reddick, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, guys like that. But we are going to make our picks, and on camera here I have all of our names on the wheel. And so the first pick will go to...
Oh gosh, wait, like baby.
Jamie.
Let's go. I am going with the most recent winner, and that being Kyle Larson.
Didn't Logano win last fall? Or are you talking about the spring race?
Spring.
Gotcha. Alright. Next pick goes to myself. Now, I'm in a pickle here because it's really hard not to pick Bell again 2 weeks in a row, considering he got me the win yesterday. But I don't want to lose any points, so I am going to take Joey Logano.
Thank you, boys.
Next pick goes to Brandon.
Willie B.
Saw that one coming.
Yep.
I knew you were going to do it because my brother always takes Byron. You told me you were going to do that yesterday. All right. Next pick will go to Tyler.
I'm going with my boy Chase Elliott.
All right. And just for the fun of it, I will spin the wheel one more time. I wonder who it's going to land on.
What's the over-under?
Oh, JP.
Wow! Lucky sevens.
Wow. So, let's go with Amy. You're going to be happy with me
Oh, yeah?
because
Because?
I'm going with Denny.
Going with?
I heard Denny.
Oh, he's going with Dennis the Menace?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you're going with the villain.
All right, I will get those jotted down in our list, and I'll get the rest of them this week. Before we close the show out, it is time for another rousing edition of Jamie's Trivia. Now, before Jamie asks the question, we will give our answers one at a time. Brandon, you are new to this, so if you get the question right and nobody else does, you get a bonus point towards your race pick total. Fire away, Jamie.
And also, preemptively, because it is Jamie's Trivia, please do the honorable thing and do not Google search. Do not try to search the interwebs while you're waiting for your turn.
Okay.
So, usually, trivia will be based around Las Vegas, something lottery based, maybe which driver had the most gambling issues or something along that lines, but we're not going to go that route. We're going to go, how many of the current set of drivers are from the state of Nevada?
So,
And
just
you get
active
another
drivers?
point if you can, just the current active drivers. And you also
Just
get a
Cup-
bonus
just
point
Cup
if you
Series?
can say all three, just in Cup Series.
Justin. Hold
All right, so we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to start with Brandon.
Great.
God.
So I kind of messed that up. So you're naming, there are three drivers from the state of Nevada. You have to name the three drivers.
Let's see. Kyle Busch, Noah Gragson, Riley Herbst.
Presto bango, he got it.
You would be correct.
Oh,
Now, does he get one bonus point or 3 bonus points?
We'll give him the 3 bonus points because I messed it up. It was supposed to be a 2-parter.
All right, that sounds good. All right, well, congratulations, Brandon. Good job.
yeah.
3 bonus points towards your race pick total for this week. So that is going to do it for our show tonight. As always, a big shout out to all of our sponsors, Smackin' Sunflower Seeds, Century PC, Sleeves, Fubo TV, Fanatics, Bulletproof Coffee, Dr. Squatch. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this podcast. Be sure to check out the links in our podcast description. And something new that we're going to start doing, promoting our other podcasts. We have the Hard Count coming up for football season. The Dirt and Turf is going right now for baseball. Biscuits and Penalties for hockey. And then Social Slam, which myself, Jamie, Cobra, and Alex are on for wrestling. Be sure to check out all of those awesome podcasts. But until next time, I am Greg, and for JP, Jamie, Tyler, and Brandon, this has been the Lap Down, and we will see you guys after rolling the dice in Vegas.
Deuces!
Deuces!
Deuces.